Full disclosure, the Maono P1 was sent to me directly from Maono, no money was exchanged, and the amount of work done on this video, it had been more worthwhile for me to work at McDonald's than make this video. But for me, it's worth my while to help everyone watching this. Now let's continue with this review. And the audio you're going to hear in part of this video is recorded to, well, mobile phone. And the audio on mobile phone is decent, but it's the lowest tier of quality of the different options I test in this video. So now, let's continue on. Hello, this is Eric of Spark E Studio, and welcome to my review of the Maono P1. This is quite different than the Maono PS22 Lite. The Maono PS22 Lite. This is made of hard plastic, and it feels light. And USB Type-C connection. A 3.5 millimeter headphone in port. What would I recommend? Well, this has better features. Let's say if I'm running this particular microphone, this is the Shure SM7B. Yes, I was able to run it on the Maono PS22 Lite at pretty much max volume. At max volume, you start to introduce some hiss in there. This has 70 dB of gain. This likes 60 dB of gain. That is spectacular for such a device. Now, what else does this have? It has auto gain. That is one feature that was missing off the PS22 Lite that is on here, which is very important, especially if you're a podcaster, gamer. You want a certain volume without clipping the audio. This will do it for you. On-the-go power. This means I can use my mobile phone and still get 70 dB of gain while using OTG power to get proper power to my mobile phone when using, say, a device like the SM7B or playing guitar. It's quite a bit heavier. It feels more substantial than the PS22 Lite, which feels very plasticky. This feels like it has a metal top. I believe it definitely does. You can feel that cold material. It said something about zinc hybrid coating on here, I think. Let's see, built to last, compact zinc alloy body protects. Yes, your sound on the road. And of course, one thing that would do is also protect from like a form of shielding to stop interference. So that is a great feature to add to this. The headphone port and everything else here out seems to be the same direction out this way. One thing that separates the Maono PS22 Lite that I previously reviewed and this one is we see the headphone port. But if you look, we have a camera out. So I can record a camera, which should keep my volume level decent. So let's have a listen to that one. Camera sounds. As I adjust my volume of my microphone, we can see this green line change. And we can see it go to white and basically nothing for volume. And it goes up and up and up. Now, if I turn it up very much, I'm going to have to lower my monitor knob to get proper levels. And of course, at this kind of level, I should get very clear sound because I shouldn't be getting hiss from having anything too loud. And that should be, well, of course, that'd be a good thing. But my camera is set to volume 5 out of, I think, 30 or something like that. This is the Nikon ZR. Instead of having it set at one volume, as I was testing earlier, and having the interface turned way the heck up for the monitor out being maximum, which might have introduced hiss, I've now turned down the monitor a bit, and I can increase the mic a bit because I'm barely seeing orange. And yeah, there we go. So it turns white as the volume turns down, and you'll see the green. And that gives me my level of this device. And we can see right here, the orange is where it's like means caution. Increase my volume to see what happens. As we can see that color, it goes orange, and red is clipping. Now, I should be distorting right now at least once in a while, so that's where you want to avoid. This here, I actually have an adapter so I can actually plug my headphones in if I choose to this way. Monitor out, of course, is going to be good to your speakers and whatnot to actually listen and monitor your audio if you want to be able to hear it at the same time. Most devices have that, of course. 48 volts phantom power. This is 192 kilohertz max at 24-bit. So we have great audio specs for this. And 130 dB, I don't know what EIN means. Let's find that out and let's see. An audio and equivalent input noise. So that is great, I believe. Negative 100, often loosely referred to as 130 dB EIN. It represents extremely low, top-tier self-noise floor. So that is, of course, great to have. The higher this noise floor, the higher this 130, or say compared to 119 is better. I believe that does beat, if I'm not mistaken, I think it does beat the Vocaster. Let's see. The Focusrite Vocaster 2 is 105 dB A-weighted. Dynamic range of 120 dB for handling wide audio signal clarity. So that's good to know. Negative 130.6 dB for silent background performance. Yeah. So that gives an idea that this should be a great interface for audio, especially in its price range. And in fact, let's talk about the price range in terms of me looking this up right now, Maono P1. And I'm going to look that up online. 129 USD or 181.16 Canadian. Yes, Canadian dollar is pretty horrible. So anyways, $129.99 US dollars. Not bad at all. I now have the Maono P1 connected, and one thing I found about this is the headphone port is better. Like I'm not hearing any echoing, so that is great. It's connected to my PC, I have the software running, and I don't have safe mode on. Safe mode actually might cause a delay. It changes the output by like half. So my output is 8.5 milliseconds. My input is 12.17 milliseconds. And right now we're listening to the SM7B using the software. So we can see all the different options here. Control panel, ASIO. I can choose my sample rate. Safe mode causes more delay on the output side. So it's possible, depending on your setting, to introduce delay. And we also have a general setting. So output, USB, on the go, whatever. Either way, I'm not going to play with that right now. And we have plugins, VSTs, audio mode, DAW exclusive, sample mode, not for DAW usage. Okay. And let's see if I go here, switch to DAW, changing from audio mode, sample mode to DAW exclusive. Yeah, you can end up losing your audio through your headset and stuff. In my case, I pressed direct monitor to get my headset, my headphones working again. So note that one. Press the direct monitor button on the Maono P1 device itself, and you'll see the green light, and that should solve the headphone issue if you lose your headphones like I just did. Interesting. Oh, I can't hear that through my device. Let's see. One thing I must note is I never got this audio working except for downloading it and going directly to my PC. I don't know how this works, and I'm not going to keep on testing it. It should either work or not work and be straightforward. So this is my conclusion on this particular part of this audio interface software. So I boosted my microphone too much. It's obviously clipping right now. So how do I fix that? I can press this down for a couple seconds and it will auto gain me at the distance I'm speaking away. That's the way you want to do it. And it's not going to take very long, I don't think, to do it. I'm going to have to turn the knob on my headphones to see when it finally works. There we go. So I get volume through my headphones, and that is auto gain being effective, and I'm no longer clipping. So that's how you use your auto gain. You press auto gain on the feature you want. So if I was doing instrument, I'd press down the button on instrument right here. If I want to auto gain my monitor output, I might want to do that right there, just as an example. And that is our auto gain feature in a nutshell. Do you need a PC for it? No, you don't. As you see, or as you hear, I did that to my mobile phone. So now we know. This is an acoustic guitar, by the way, but I prefer to play electric because I buzz the strings too easy. I haven't played guitar much recently, so I can't play anything fancy. Let's just play something basic. So I believe it's going to sound amazing to my mobile phone, which we've been recording on. So, how did it come through? How is the sound? And how is... the guitar. Press the button on direct monitor, make it white. See if it changes mono to stereo, just for the last extra test. We see here the monitor, this is the monitor, left and right channel, is actually connected to my camera right now. I have this here 6.35 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter connected camera with a special cable. You can actually buy this on Amazon quite easily, as I have done. I have several of these cables, and this allows me to go monitor out directly to my camera headphone port. Pretty cool stuff. So right now we're listening to the Shure SM7B, no processing. It is just what it is, and that is the point. Now what I want to show here is what the direct monitor button does. Let's see if I get focus here. And when I press this, my audio should change. I'm going to move the microphone a little closer so I can see on camera what's actually happening, because I want to know what is happening as I press this button. So we see it's green right now. And I press it again. There we hear it again. And I'm going to hold the button down. And what's happening? I don't know. But either way, the audio seems to be working just fine. It is violet in color, but I do not see any difference versus green. No audio, no, that's weird. So I don't know what changed, but when I press white and back to green, okay. P1 for singing, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know. Well, if you're going to mobile phone, I wouldn't recommend it. There's no metering, and the metering on this is very, as you can see, if you're used to metering, it's kind of limited how you can see, and I don't know where my levels are at, but I do with recording to my camera. There's a meter on there, and I can use the metering on my PC, so I can save myself by seeing where my levels are at, lower my volume, and try a song. So I'm going to lower this slightly, my microphone. Can I use the Maono P1 for singing? I don't know. Can we fly, fly high, fly high? I don't know if we can use the Maono P1 for singing or not. I'm recording monitor out and recording directly to my digital camera mic in. This is the Nikon ZR camera. Nice. Wow. Wow. That's a lot of volume the headphone port has. So that is not a problem if you're looking for something decent. Now, it doesn't have amplifiers for headphones, but if your headphones are reasonable, this should have decent level for sure. And your volume level is going to depend, I believe, on your mic level and everything else. Let's see if I turn my mic. Yes, it does. So as I turn the mic up, the headphone is also going to increase in volume to it as well. Same as the instrument. So there you go. We are listening to the Maono P1 headphone port. How does it come through? Now, one thing I must note about this Shure SM7B, this is not the correct foam. This is a much thicker clown nose, which I got secondhand. I'll be getting the proper one soon enough. Headphone port, port. Headphone. There we go. Whoa, wow. I'm getting close to clipping right out of the right out of this headphone port on my camera. Of course, any decent pair of headphones that don't require a preamp, you should get plenty of volume out of these headphone ports. How is the sound? Let's listen to sounds for the moment, and you're going to hear the bird chewing seeds in the background. Yeah, so you'll hear that. So that is a test of the headphone port. Is there anything else I have to say about this audio interface? A clip guard would have been a nice feature to keep it so lowers down the volume when you're getting close to clipping and prevents clipping, or a compressor. Though the auto gain is a nice touch on this, and the fact it has a 130 dB signal to noise ratio, that is pretty darn spookum, or really nice to have as well. With 70 dB of gain, a lot of audio interfaces don't have that. In fact, my Apollo Twin X Gen 2 from Universal Audio does not have that. However, the software through DSPs can indeed crank volumes up to a significant level. But again, that's 10 times more expensive than this. And I found that the older version PS22 Lite is more likely to have delay or echo in the headphones, I believe, than this here, because I did not notice echo. However, your setting will differ depending on your sample rate and everything else you choose. And your software, of course, on your computer will tell you the difference. Now, safe mode does have more of a delay at 14 point something milliseconds, but when you get over like 20 milliseconds or more, you're definitely going to start to notice a delay in the headphones. However, without safe mode, I think it was around 9 milliseconds. When it comes to this audio interface, the monitor out, as we're hearing right now, the headphone out, or the camera out, is very low self noise. Quite impressive. Actually, better than my Universal Audio Apollo Twin X Gen 2 for the headphone out port being super clean. So note that one. Great value right there. Now, one thing I must say is that mobile phone is okay quality, but to camera, as we're hearing right now, is superior. And the best option, of course, is to PC, to proper digital audio workstation software, proper DAW. I'm using Mixcraft 10 Studio for recording some of this audio on my PC, and I was using also OBS Studio. So note that one. This is Eric of Spark E Studio. Thanks for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day. This is Eric of Spark E Studio. Thanks for watching, and have yourselves a most wonderful day.